and being educated. I want to go back to the politics of immigration. You mentioned your Today Show remarks yesterday. I talk a lot about it on this show because I'm one of these people. Let everybody stay who's not violent, but let's get that wall finished. Tom Cotton has a merit system. I believe you believe in the merit system for admissions. Do you not, Mr. President?
I do. And the reason why is not only will it help our economy, but it'll make the border more secure. If people are doing work that needs to be done, and we have a legal entry system that enables them to do so, they don't have to sneak across the border. So step one of help fixing a broken border is to rework our work laws, both high skilled and lower skilled. You know, Hugh, I'm a tree farmer, believe it or not. And we've got 8 Mexican laborers on our farm. And I think we're in our 3rd year with them working there, but every year they have to reapply for a visa. So the way the rule works is you apply and you go through the bureaucracy, and then they have to go home for 2 months out of every year, which is fine because they go home during the season where we're not, spending much time digging trees. And the question though is, can they be let back in? Will the government let them in? And it creates a lot of uncertainty for a small business. Because if the government at one point says, no, you can't come back, all those years of training goes down the tubes. And so it sets us back. And I'm just one of many, many, many examples of small business owners that rely upon, foreign labor. And there's got to be an orderly way to do it. So to me, that's what a merit system means. By the way, I too am for a fence. I probably built more fence than any president did. But a broken system makes it harder to enforce the border, no matter how much fence you have. For example, border patrol agents are no longer, they're worrying more about asylum cases than they are about border enforcement. And therefore, it makes the border less secure. And so if we can fix the asylum system, have more judges, more courts, then all of a sudden we get, a more secure border.
There is a fringe, Mr. President, on both sides. A fanatical nativist fringe that you alluded to a couple days ago, and I don't think that's very big. And then there's a fanatical fringe on the left that wants an open border, and I don't think that has much support. It does not seem to me to be that difficult. If President Biden came to you and President Clinton asked you to chair a task force, bring in some people from across the spectrum. There are 100 different views on immigration. It's not like putting a helicopter on Mars and seeing it fly. This is not a hard problem. And I actually think that the Republicans are open to a comprehensive deal. I know we've tried, we've swung and we've missed, but those were closed systems. Those were done on the Hill as opposed to bringing in people from the outside. Do you think it could actually get done in a commission setting?
Well, it's interesting. I think a probably more practical way is pick off each problem one by one. Start with DACA, and that'll give people confidence to then go to the next issue. I think the 2 easiest issues to solve, at least the 2 most logical issues to solve, are DACA and work. And you and I share the same view on undocumented aliens. That if they pay their taxes and are good citizens and are assimilating, they ought to be given not immediate citizenship, but a right to become a citizen after those who are going through the legal process finish their time. But to me, that'll be a harder issue because what will happen is people will scream amnesty. And once you lob the word amnesty out there, it scares people.
Yeah, I don't worry about that because I actually think the number of people who respond to that call and respond thing is actually smaller. And Dr. Kissinger in his book, Diplomacy, said about big problems, world problems, the bigger the problem set you make it, the easier it is to achieve a peace because there are more moving parts. So that's where we disagree. I want to put everything on the table and get maybe you and Clinton together and 20 other people and come up with a simplified, it's just too doggone complicated when it comes out. Let me close, Mr. President, with a couple of quick questions.
Let me say one thing, Hugh, excuse me. That's what we're doing. We've got a coalition of like-minded people working this issue, and many of them are involved on Capitol Hill. So the Bush Center is spearheading a reform movement. It's quiet, except for this book, which makes it not quiet. But it's we're lining up, and we're talking to people about what needs to be done. I mean, the Koch brothers, for example, I know that's a word that scares a lot of people on the left, but they're very much in favor of a rational immigration policy, and they're putting money behind it, and they're pushing hard. And so we're very much involved with what you said. Now, there hadn't been inter-party outreach yet, but maybe it's not quite right. My view is, if the president's sincere about this, he ought to sit down with, some rational Republicans. He's got to finish his initial agenda. However, he got a lot on his plate right now. But eventually, I think there's a deal to be done.
I do, and I think Bush-Clinton task force that talked to Tom Cotton at the same time they're talking to more expansively minded people would do a lot of good. I want to ask you about last picture, Paula Rendon, who was a second mother to your family, and she's the only person in the book who's not alive now because she died.